All right. What do we got here? Another big, lefty win. Let's go. We stacking them up, more and more W's. First Zoran Mamdani, and now, I don't want to say he's the Zoran Mamdani of Minneapolis because that just seems very patronizing or something. I mean, I know that Omar Fateh here basically had a lot of the same policy proposals also as like Zoran Mamdani. Now, okay, has he actually won? No, he's not. He's not technically won the Minnesota state primary, but from what I understand with the DFL, right, which is the Democratic Farm Labor Party, right, which I guess is like a particular Minnesota thing, right, from what I understand. It's like just how the Democrats run Minnesota. They are more labor friendly, probably more left leaning, broadly speaking, and they are essentially the sort of main Democratic establishment of, I suppose, of Minnesota, right, of the state of Minnesota. So the fact that they have endorsed Omar Fateh, I think it pretty much is. I think it's over for the incumbent mayor. From what I understand, right, he faces like a lot of problems. Who's Minnesota's current mayor? Uh, or not Minnesota, Minneapolis. Current mayor. I know, like, what a lot of people do not like Jacob Fry all that much, right? There's like a lot of problems with him. Of course, there's gonna be all the DFL stuff. What's like the sort of like vibe here with what the problems with like Jacob Fry? The Fry campaign intends to submit a challenge to the state DFL. Well, he's not happy about that. Very, very funny. What? Why do people not really like Fry all that much? When incumbents run for re-election, it's really a referendum on them. I think there's a lot of issues in terms of crime. I think also for good or for bad, there's a concern about availability and affordability of housing in Minneapolis. Okay, so he's not really doing anything to address issues of crime. Is that in relation to the BLM protests, right? Because that's where the first police station burnt down to the ground. That was in Minneapolis. That was where Derek Chauvin happened, right? With what George Floyd got choked. Was that in Minneapolis? I don't remember exactly. Yes, it was Minneapolis. Okay, perfect, fantastic. And that's where the police station broke down, and the whole sort of shebang popped off from there, right? For lack of a better term, right? That's cool. That's great. Fantastic. So, and there's also an affordability crisis, which is a sort of broader, like, American issue. And Jacob Fry, I guess, has not really done anything for that. And, well, no one's just like, yeah, it's just not, he's, like, not really doing anything about any of these particular issues. What? Chelsea McFarland is a chair of MPLS for the many. MPLS? People for the many? Whatever. A political action committee seeking to elect progressives and a new mayor come November. What I think it says about Minneapolis is that we are ready to move on from the divisiveness and the incompetence of Mayor Fry and elect a new mayor. Woof! I think that we've already seen what he's accomplished on the state level. He's passed education. He's a champion for workers' rights. I assume that was the stuff that Fatah has done. So that's cool. Fantastic. Very good. Excellent. Hamline University professor and political analyst David Schultz said that while Fatah was a favorite, he thought the incumbent two-term Fry would have the strategy and support to pull off a nomination. I guess he just doesn't. Okay, cool. So, being endorsed, I suppose, by the sort of state democratic apparatus, like, that's, like, pretty fucking big and significant, because obviously similarly in New York, I don't know if, like, did the New York State Democratic Party endorse anyone during the New York City mayoral primary? I don't think they did. I would have seen something about it. It's mostly just been like particular lawmakers within the Democratic Party itself have been fucking endorsing Cuomo because, again, well, you know how it is with the fucking Democrats. They're going to do anything possible to snub any sort of like progressive political momentum, especially if it's in a city like New York, right? I don't know if they'll really care as much about it in like Minneapolis. Maybe. I don't know. Like, that's like the whole other question, right? I don't know like what kind of coalition Omar Fatah sort of like built in order to Well, he hasn't won the primary yet, so we haven't quite gotten there yet. But the thing is that it's pretty much like assumed that he's now a heavily favored, like almost a shoe-in, because like again, the sort of like state apparatus, democratic apparatus, ended up sort of like endorsing him. So honestly, like it's great, it's fantastic. Like at least the sort of take that I've had before with the only way for the Democratic Party to sort of be able to survive going into the future is to sort of embrace what I call sort of like Midwestern Democratic strategy, and that is a significantly more populist message, right? Like not that I'm saying like Zoran Mamdani is kind of like doing that. I think like Zoran Mamdani just kind of like did his own fucking thing, but I mean broadly speaking, like in terms of like left leaning, more like populists, successful left leaning, I guess state apparatuses in Minnesota specifically. I mean, it's been like solidly blue for like the past 40 years, and that's something that's probably not really going to change like probably anytime soon, right? Especially considering the fact that there's constant like lots of popular policy that's always being passed that benefits the people of Minnesota. So it's a blueprint, right? Like this, it works. Like passing things that are popular for people is actually a good thing. But am I really expecting anything from the fucking state Democratic apparatus or like the broader Democratic apparatus? No, not really. They're not gonna fucking learn anything from this. And I don't know if they are going to try to snub Omar Fateh like they're trying to snub or Zoran Mamdani, because it's not like it's Minneapolis. It's not like New York City, which is the sort of like perennial city of cities, right? Like you think of a city, you think of New York, right? So that's like probably the main difference there in terms of like, I don't know, cultural pull, I suppose, for lack of a better term. But it wouldn't be a sort of like I don't know, victory. I mean, this is a victory, right? Like the Democrats are sort of like endorsing clearly the more populist, better choice, a person who can actually sort of like bring forward and help catalyze an actual vibe shift within the Democratic Party that would only benefit the party, fundamentally speaking. Then again, like the reason why it's not like the Democrats are pushing as hard against it as possible is because they, broadly speaking, have a lot of the exact same interests as the Republican Party in terms of wanting to, court billionaires to get their funds. I've broadly had this critique before, but a lot of people were being racist, in particular against Omar Fateh, because I don't know if you've noticed, but he's from Somalia, right? Large Somali population within Minneapolis, right? A lot of them live in Minneapolis. Not really. I wonder why Somalis decided to live in Minneapolis of all places. That's like what I'm curious about. Maybe there's like some particular program I'm just unaware of, because it's just like it gets cold in Minnesota, right? From what I understand. Like I'm okay. I'm partially kind of doing the meme of like whatever, but we got libs of TikTok here. Here's a video of Minnesota State Senator and Minneapolis mayoral candidate Omar Fateh claiming that the real threat to our country is white people. True, and real, and based. He's so for real for that, to be honest, because damn, it's not like every sort of like goddamn institution that exists, intelligence institution that exists within the United States has been constantly ringing the alarm bell about white supremacists for the past, I don't know, several decades or something. Yeah, that's also like, yeah, probably true, Alex, for as to why they fucking moved there, because there's other Somalis there. I'm mostly like talking about like why did they start moving there? Why to Minneapolis in particular? I'm just curious about that. Like I'm not very sure why. Yeah, it sort of snowballed. I think it's because there were voluntary agencies helping them when they fled Somalia in the 90s. Ah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. But, anywho, being distracted. Libs of TikTok being stupid. What do we got here?
Heard them being called terrorists. We heard them being called drug dealers. Mm-hmm. We heard a lot of insults. We heard that they're a threat to our national security. And that's a flat-out lie. You want to know who the real threat is?
This seems a little out of context, right? I think, is he talking about immigrants, right? Before this, You've done some cutting here, libs of TikTok. Because who would have thought that this Chaya Raichik, who's like a 3 IQ dumbass, would be dishonest about this? Like, who would have thought?
Madam President, I'll give you a hint. They don't look like our chief author. They don't look like the folks up in the gallery. They don't look like the folks out in the rotunda. They look like many of the members that sit in the front. And you don't have to take my word for it. According to DHS, Madam President, the greatest domestic threat facing the United States comes from, quote, racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically those who advocate for the superiority of the white race.
Now, Chaya, I know that you're very fucking stupid, right? You're like really dumb. But people are going to fall for this propaganda anyways because they're also stupid. Why would you let the full context play? He's being very, very fucking clear with who are the main threats. Yeah, she's like, I mean, again, she is probably sort of expecting no one to watch the video and just like look at the fucking headline here and just be like, you know, kind of okay, like just get outraged based off of that. Because he's being very obvious and very fucking clear. He's talking about white supremacists. I mean, obviously white supremacists are going to be mad with this because, again, she's just like a stupid sort of like idiotic fucking freak. He's being very obvious and clear, which is statistics that have been broadly speaking repeated not only by DHS but also by the FBI. They have said that the main sort of national security threat domestically for the United States of America are white supremacist groups. You know, you can look that up yourself, right? Obviously, like this has been known for a very, very long time. So, you know, as expected from this, like, I don't know, complete fucking 3 IQ troglodyte, she has decided to let the full context play, which honestly, I think just makes her look like a fucking idiot. Like, why would you do that, Chaya? That seems very dumb and stupid. But like, whatever. Yeah. She's not getting, like, yeah, Chaya racist does think that she will be spared when the Nazis get power. Like, yeah, that's not fucking. Listen, hey, Chaya, you're just putting up a bunch of fucking goddamn videos. You're doing work. Get back to the fucking kitchen. You're supposed to be barefoot and fucking pregnant, being a fucking broodmare for all the fucking superiority of the fucking white race type people. Okay, like, you know, all the white supremacists out there. All right, like that's why like she's not gonna be fucking spared when they come for her, right?
Not our immigrants.
True.
We are safer and we're better off because of them. Heard them being called.
Oh yeah, she is Jewish, isn't she? Huh? Hey Chaya, all those like Nazis you seem to be a big fan of, they're not gonna like you for being Jewish, my dude. Very, very silly. Now we got Jack Posobiec here, right? Mogadishu, obviously being racist because of the fact that, well, there's a large Somali populace that exists within Minneapolis, right? A lot of them moved there during the 90s because of the fucking civil war that happened between Somalia and, well, Somaliland. So, whoa, are you surprised, Jack Posobiec? Listen, Posobiec, that's not a very American Anglo-Saxon sounding last name. Maybe your dumbass needs to be fucking deported as well. Listen, they'll fucking come for you just because you have the last name of fucking Posobiec, you idiot.
عليكم مقعي وايكي حسن وعادوا فرحنا مانتا ولكن عمر فاتح نقول دون next mayor of Minneapolis وهيستوريك واي.
I think it's Slavic. It sounds Slavic. Oh no, they're speaking the language that they speak in Somalia. What's the main language of Somalia? I'm not 100% certain. What is the main language spoken in Somalia? Somalia. I was thinking, I wasn't sure if it's Arabic or if it was called Somali, right? 3 top languages. Somali and Arabic. So they're speaking either Somali or Arabic there, and there's a bunch of Somali people there. So they're speaking in the language that they know? Oh no? Is Somali a Semitic language? Is it? Is Somali a Semitic language? No, it is not. Huh? Today we're learning, I guess, a little bit about Somali. So, yeah, there's a bunch of Somali people here who vote for the Democrats because they're citizens, right? Like, Omar Fateh was born in America, so, he's an American citizen. He could participate in politics. That's how that fucking works. Again, like, listen, Jack, if we want to do the fucking meme, Nazis were not big fans of fucking Slavs, okay? Besides the fucking Jews, they killed a lot of Slavic people as well, okay? Like, you're also on the fucking chopping block, buddy. And then we have this dumbass here. We need to pass a law that only American-born can serve in the government. This is getting out of control. He was born in the government. Or not the government. He was born in America. Kate? Like, he was born here. As Mika even says, Omar Fateh was born in the United States. Here, let me help you a little more. Was Omar Fateh born in the U.S.? He was born in Washington, D.C. Well, that was easy. The point of them, of all these like stupid fucking sniveling conservative dumb fucks saying this is because they're just all like 3 IQ dumb fucking racists. Okay, they don't give a fuck about any of this. They just don't like the fact that he's Somali and he looks like the dude who said, "I'm the captain now," right? Because they're also making that fucking comparison, right? Which is also fucking racist because again, it was a movie documenting that particular event of like the Somali pirates hijacking that one ship, blah 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 blah, right? And they're saying, "Oh, he looks like the guy who said Captain Alex," and well, just because they're dumb fucking racists. So as expected from the conservative reaction, the only thing they have is like vitriolic fucking racism because again, they don't want to talk about any of the policies or positions that he broadly speaking pushes out there because either A, they're too stupid to understand any of it, or B, they're all just a bunch of like racist fucking dumb fucks, bumblefuck morons who honestly could care fucking less about what any of the sort of benefits someone like Omar Fateh would be fucking pushing for, broadly speaking, if he were to get into power. Because in reality, they don't give a shit about like benefiting the populace. They couldn't give less of a shit about any of that. So that's cool. Yeah, Alex, that was the same shit it also said in the quick Google search, right? So that's cool, fantastic. I think it's just a positive development overall that the Democratic establishment within Minneapolis, I'm not talking about nationally, because they would probably try to do everything possible to snub an Omar Fateh like figure who is, well, similar to Zohran Mamdani, and well, they don't really care as much about it because I guess it's just like, it's Minneapolis, who gives a fuck kind of a deal, right? So great development, fantastic to see that another potential W on the board for another socialist candidate in Omar Fateh. It's great to see the sort of W's for left-leaning, more populist candidates be constantly fucking racked up more and more so as the main Democratic establishment continues to hemorrhage and bleed support for, well, the fact that they just want to be like do-nothing dipshits who just want to sit there on their asses and just getting, well, a bunch of fucking free bucks from, well, taxpayers. And from corporations and billionaires in order to push, like, well, do nothing nonsense and let the Republicans gallivant about and destroy the fucking government. So, yep, great positive development. Maybe the tide is actually finally starting to turn for once. This is like hopefully a sort of trend of like more broader, like progressive, left-leaning sort of like successes that happens, broadly speaking, within the United States of America. And I'm just glad to see that we're finally starting to see some fucking positive development. I'm feeling full of hope. I'm on the fucking hopium pill. So, overall, like, I think it's just a positive trend that we are currently starting to see.